Hello, how are you? This is JilliBling. Today's project is all about Easter, spring, excellent eggs. So here's today's project. And I saw this online and, well here, I'll show you that in just a minute. So, egg, bunny, there's no bunny like you. And then I also made this one using the same layout and I copied her, let me find that. I copied her layout and I did a lot of cards using the layout. Polly Libby on Pinterest. Oh, I'll use this to go over the paper cut sizes. But I used this layout with the two panels, the circle, and a little band of color going across. And then I changed it for each one a bit. So this is also using Excellent Eggs. And this one is a little bit more, well, this one is traditional too with the Easter bunnies, but using the free designer paper from Celebration, which you can still get through the end of the month. And look at this little bunny in here. Hello, he just snuck out there. And just one egg being colored. After you color one egg, that's enough. Coloring one on the outside and the inside? Well, needless to say, I didn't want to do all of them, but I think it turned out cute just like that. So there is these two using the Excellent Egg Stampin' die set, the bundle. But then along the way, I made Magnolia. This is a new online exclusive. Customers could get it on March 5th. As a demonstrator, you could get it now. If you have any thoughts of being a demonstrator, you could use this as part of your order when you become a demonstrator and get it right now. So I made that card, two of those, different color gems, and then this card. Aren't those nice? And then the inside, flower. I guess that's more of a pod. And then this one, little flower. And I did a video on making this boho one, but I also show how to do the inside of the pool party one. And so that was a previous video if you want to see that. But once again, it's the same layout. See how versatile it is? Where it has the two panels with the textured white paper and then designer paper. This one has just a little bit of coloring. This one has a little bit more, but not that much. I didn't even take time to blend it. And then this is using an old set, which I just love. And this is a little bit more traditional Easter card. So, one design, lots of different cards. But let's do this one today. Excellent Eggs, Excellent Egg dies. The Magnolia Mood dies. Stylish Shapes is for the circle, the freesia circle, back behind. And Nested Essentials for the words, the greeting. Keep that nearby. Let's see what else is over here. Oh, online exclusive, another preview. This is polka dot trim, natural color. And I used that behind the egg. It's perfect for this. So we'll use that. And Stripes and Splatters. And it's a 2-pack. And this is in the annual catalog. Okay. So I will go through as I use each of these papers, the paper cut sizes, and at the end I'll hold up the card and my little cheat sheet that shows the paper cut sizes, and I'll put them on my blog too. So the bundle is on page 27, has a stamp set and dies, and there's a lot of different dies in here, and I haven't touched them yet. You can see I haven't even touched all these other dies yet. Lots of fun. Okay, so let's get started building this card. So I will stamp on this just scratch paper, this egg, and that is 2 3/4 by 8 1/2. I think this one might be a little bit more narrow. It probably would be better to have it a little bit wider, but it works fine for this project. Okay, so Stampin' this egg with the bunnies on it, very cute, and there's a die that perfectly cuts it out, but I think it's too big for the project. So let me see, it is right here. Oh, and another thing. Are you like, that's a cute colored egg in there? It is cute. Okay, so back to this one. Cut it out using the die, which has this little stitching all around it. But imagine this on here. It's just too big. So just like Libby, what's her name? Polly Libby? Polly Libby did. Used a smaller die and chopped off a bit of it, made it smaller. And this is how much I chopped off. And it doesn't have a white border around it, but I'm okay with that. I think it's cute. Okay, oh, and then this one. Are you like, well, you colored the egg good. I did. And it kind of matches the colors. But here, notice the difference. Easter card, egg card. Now you put this one on top. It's like, oh my gosh, it's cute, but I'm kind of confused. It's just a lot of color, a lot of different colors. I think that one's better. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. So this one, the dies, I'm going to use a smaller die. Be using the circle, be using the words. Oh, this is the bigger circle, the bigger egg die. Not using it. Oh, I'm going to use the bunny. Little bunny. Oh, and then these, did you notice these things? Metallic effects and pearlized effects. Those are, you could hardly tell on here. If you had the card in hand, you could feel them. But I just did a whole bunch of little 3 dots. And I did a dot in the center of the flowers. And I did dots on here and here. And probably even if I held it up close, I don't know that you could see them. But it just kind of coordinates with the paper. Oh, the paper. Free celebration paper. Gotta love that. On the back side of it is definitely Valentine's Day. But this, I think, works well for Easter. It has little hearts on it. Flowers. So we'll be using these. And this white pearlized, I used a dot on each of these little bumps here. And then a dot here. You can probably see those. Oh, and up at the top. I love that stuff. It's a lot of fun. Okay, back on task. Okay, I'm going to cut this out. And on the sample, I cut out and I got part of the black edge. I really don't like that, but after coloring it, right here, I got the black edge. After coloring it, you don't notice it. But if you can, cut in the center of the egg. I can't say that very loud. The dog knows that's on a weekend and he gets that. Okay, and I have 2 bunnies cut out. One for the outside, one for the inside. This is for words. Let's do words. And the words paper is 1 1/2 by 3 5/8. So I'm going to do, there's no bunny like you, and I'm going to put it off to the side so that the bunny can be right over here, kind of prominent. Okay. So, get that cut. Collect in pieces. And freesia circle, which is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Let's see what else. Oh, these little panels. These panels are, the white is 1 inch by 3 1/2 inches, and the freesia is 1 1/8 by 3 5/8. So So let me get these attached. And I am attaching them before I texture it. I could texture just the white, but attaching the white textured paper to a different color, any other paper, is challenging just because there's all that texture on it. So I could run both of these through the embossing folder without a problem. Okay, so I have these two panels, and I'm going to use stripes and splatters. And I think this is on celebration time. If you order $50 plus, every $50 increment, you could choose something from the celebration or the more to celebrate items. This is a more to celebrate, and it comes with the stripes and the splatters embossing folder little bundle. So I'm going to texture that. Stripes and splatters. Okay, let's see what else we have going. Okay, the paper base is 5.5 by 8.5. Okay, and then this gets attached. Just white paper, which is 5.25 by 4. And I cut two of these, one for the outside as a layer and one for the inside. And if ever you have a hard time getting your papers layered on square, if you can, hold it in diagonal corners. See how I could still maneuver the paper? I'm going to look at the top corner, see how I could still move it around. Top corner, bottom corner, top corner, bottom, flop it. So if ever you see me holding my paper a little funny, you know why now. Because it works pretty effectively each time. That's cute too. So I'm going to make sure the hearts are going up because the flowers are going every direction, but I want my little hearts going up. Isn't that cute? Okay, and then this paper, you know I've done this every time. I purposely made it, oh this one fits. On some of them I cut them a little bit long and I'm like, I already attached it. If ever you do that, this paper is the same size as this white layer. I could just hold it up. See, I did make it a little long. Hold it up and then trim it. Right there. So Tony is out getting new front brakes and rotors on his truck. Woohoo! You know you have to do those things. My car is going in the shop on Thursday just because this check engine light kept on coming on. And then when I would turn it off and go do something, I'd come back out and the light would be off. I'm like, oh, okay, we're good. But then it kept coming on. Anyhow, it's going to go get a checkup. You know, an annual checkup. We all have to do that. Okay, so I'll put this a little at the bottom. Okay, and the panels, I could put those on. We're just assembling this whole card. So the coloring, I did a little bit of coloring, but it's a lot of light, kind of pastel coloring. But we'll do that here in a minute. Got that glue. I'll put it down here because I know it will be covered. And just a little bit of a gap between those. Okay, so you know I said I was going to hold this up. So if you're ready, and you can take a screenshot of this or wait till I post it. for this project, and I know my handwriting isn't the best, but it's possible. There are the paper cut sizes. Click, you got it? Okay, so for the circle, I'm going to do a little sponging. And you know, I went to look up the item number for sponges because of course I have a million of them. Stampin' Up! Doesn't have them anymore. You could use any sponge you want, but I probably won't be using sponges anymore. The blending brushes would work perfect for this. That's probably why sponges went away. You could use a sponge dauber. That would work good too. But isn't that fun? And on some of the other samples, I did a swoosh in the center and not on the outside edges. So any way you like. And since I have this rolling, let me do the inside. And the inside has just a little bit of color for the bunny to sit in. If I turn this paper upside down, I got it really splotchy and freckly. And I think that's because of some of the sponges, this past year, they have these square edges. And these ones seem to be, see how it's kind of rounded? A little bit more of a finer material, where this is a little bit more coarse. I like the other ones better. So, to remedy that, I'm gonna see what that is. That's what it was looking like on the card. So, let me see if I can get this one smooth. See, it's a little bit freckled again. I don't know that the bunny cares if he's in freckled territory. Oh, not good. Well, maybe now while there's not much ink on it. Not much is showing up. Is that so bad? I'm putting a little pressure on it. That'll do. That's good. Okay. Since I'm on a roll here, let me do the Easter. Happy Easter. In Memento, jet black. Okay. I think it's just coloring and assembling. This will go in here. Oh, this could go now. There's no more stamping to do. Okay, so let's do some coloring. So the coloring on here, you probably notice, yeah, there is a bit of color. I use two different greens in here. I use sea foam around the bunnies and just kind of as a filler, and we'll do that here in a minute. Then with the bunnies, I did Crumb Cake Light and Color Lifter. The rocks, I did Smoky Slate. And in the bunny's ears, these are the only ears showing. Oh, and then the flowers, I used Fresh Freesia Light. So, I'm looking for something to color on. Hold on. So I'll start out by doing bunnies. You know, I'll do the big bunny, and then I'll do the same after I set it down. Not that this bunny is all that big, but just wherever the little shadows are, like down under the ears, over here. And see how there's shadow marks? I'm just doing a line. And I'm going to take the color lifter and go back and kind of soften it up. But I don't know if you could tell, I'm not being all that precise about it. Not his tail. His tail is a little white. I need to go to a different project box because I made those little treat holders with this bunny, and I put a whole bunch of little bunny bunny butts in there. And I don't think I needed that many in the box, so I can get some to add on to this project box. Okay, so I'm just putting a little bit of crumb cake. Then I'm going to go back with the color lifter. Oh, let me do the ears. Where's that other bunny? You could just hang out there. One year I was doing, this is like over 10, 15 years ago, I was doing a bunny card, and we had this scalloped circle punch, and I took a bite, literally. Well, just imagine I'm being a chocolate bunny. And it was two bunnies facing other directions, and one of them, with the circle punch, I took a bite out of his ear, because if it's a chocolate bunny, where do you bite first? And then on the other one, I think I took a punch out of his butt. And the one bunny, and I typed this up on my my computer and printed it out. One bunny said, "Hey, I can't feel my butt." And the other bunny said, "Huh?" And if you get that, like receive that card, you're like, what is this all about? There's cute little Easter bunnies with like bunches out of them. So the one that can't feel his butt, it's because there was a bite taken out of it. And then of course the other one that said, "Huh?" He couldn't hear because his ear had a bite taken out of it. I guess in some ways it's kind of, if you're thinking about the livelihood of the bunnies, but these were chocolate bunnies. These ones here are white. Obviously I won't do it. Okay, I'm cracking myself up again a decade later. I thought it was funny. So speaking of that, if you have a chocolate bunny, okay, first of all, do you want white chocolate? Do you want milk chocolate or dark chocolate? Do you want it solid or hollow? Anyhow, and then where do you bite? Where do you take your first bite? Yeah, I think generally, just because it's sticking up so much, the ears. I'm gonna put little pink nose. Okay, I need to move on from that subject. For some reason, it's cracking me up. Or maybe I'm just wanting chocolate right now. I always want chocolate. Okay, bunnies are done. Aren't they cute? Okay, so now I'm going to do the same process on these bunnies here. And then I'll show you, well here, I'll start out by doing rocks. Well, pretty much all the other colors. Okay, let's just start out by doing rocks. I'll do a few rocks, a little bit of everything, and then I'll set it down and I'll get busy coloring. So I'm just doing maybe half the rock. Okay, that one's little, all the rock. And then I'm going to use the color lifter to kind of soften it a bit. So pretend like I did all the rocks. Then, this is like a bright green, dark lemon lime. I was thinking it should be granny apple, but I always use granny apple. So now I'm going over wherever I see like the flower greenery or these tufts of grass. And it's not precise at all. Okay, so do that to the whole egg. I'll do it in a minute. The flowers are freesia, and they're so small. And I'm going to put that little gold dot on them at the end after I get the card assembled. So when you're going through here and you start doing the seafoam green, which will be next, you're like, oh, there's another little flower. So I'm trying to get them all. Just a little dot, dot, dot. Okay, I'll do the rest in a minute. Oh, and then the bunnies. The bunnies get crumb cake light, but not their tails. Chrome Cake Light. Just a little shadow to make them look a little bit more realistic. They're not chocolate. You can't bite these ones. Okay, so then after that's done, color lifter. So now I'm gonna go and I'm not being precise, I'm just trying to soften up that line from white, nothing, oop, I have a rock there, white, nothing paper to a little bit of the light color, just trying to soften it up a bit. Okay, so you see the process. So let me get busy and do all this. Okay, lemon lime is first. Wherever there's tufts of grass, so let's see, what other stories? Yesterday, or actually, okay, so you know how Tony is a bus driver, and he's talking with all these kids, keeping up with them. He is like a social butterfly. And I don't know if it's a Levi or Lehigh. He is working at a restaurant in Cottage Grove called Campfire. Tony's like, I heard that Lehigh does really good work at, and his sister Emma, which is a coincidental name, she works there too. And she's like, yeah, when he works, a lot of people go in. So Tony's like, we need to go and we need to check out Campfire. And that's where Kathy and David moved last year. Their house is built and they're in beautiful home. But they're in California. Anyhow, so Tony's like, come on, today's the day. Let's go. And of course I was in the middle of making this project. And in my head I'm like, don't you want to work in the yard? I didn't say that. I'm like, okay. So we got up, went to Oak Ridge, which is like a half an hour drive, and it was great. You would just think like a little mom pop type restaurant, and it's not all that fancy. It's exactly what you would expect. I was kind of hoping for like a campfire. I was going to say just like the wood on the ground, but I was cold, so I'd like the whole shebang, but that ain't happening. Anyhow, you would think, yeah, it's going to have some good stuff, but it was really good. Exactly what you'd expect, plus a little bit more. So Tony got biscuits and gravy. The man who was doing low carbs, I think he was feeling the need to splurge. Okay, I see grass and a rock. And he got that just because David said, it's really good. And he liked it. See, I like the thought of biscuits and gravy, and when it comes out, I'm good with it for about 5 minutes, but once it gets soggy, well, that's it. No more of that. Okay, a little bit of blending, and then I'm going to do the seafoam. And see how these are just little touches of color? And they're not precise at all. Okay, so I have another little story. So, Friday night, Tony did a bus trip, and he was going to get home at, he got home at 8:30, something like that. And you know how he's been working on making the fence taller? So what was out on the other side of the fence? Okay, I'm going to do seafoam. Get back to my story. So for the seafoam, see all these little other bits of grass? I could do them in the lemon lime, which would be a little bit brighter. But I'm just going to do kind of little streaks going along here. And then I'm going to do seafoam around each of the bunnies entirely. Just a circle around them. And then go through and just these little dots that are implying grass. It's not like the full-on tuft of grass. I'll do seafoam. maybe under the rocks. But I want the paper to be maybe 75% filled in. I'll hold it up when I'm done here. Anyhow, there's a family of 4 deer out on the other side of the fence, which is the exact plan. Because usually it would be the mom and dad, or at least one of them, would jump in, make the dog crazy, and he'd bark, and we would go get the, we have an air horn by one of the back windows, and we would blow the air horn so that the deer would go, oh, there's people living here, and they would bound out, but the little ones would always stay behind the fence. Anyhow, then in the meantime, Bo is being a good watchdog, and he is barking his head off. Anyhow, now that there's, well, okay, and another thing, I think the primary reason for the taller fence is because the deer would like to come in and eat the garden and eat Tony's new orchard. So, ever since he's built it, we haven't had any visitors inside. So it's nice. And this time I checked, it's like, oh, nope, they're not inside, they're outside. No need for a horn. So Bo went darting out, and he has his little electronic necklace on, so he doesn't get within 10 feet of the fence. But it worked out perfectly. A little bit more over here. And that happened twice yesterday, or the day before. Okay, so there it is. You can see, and I'll take a picture of it and put it on my blog, but you can see the seafoam in there and the lemon lime twist. Not specific at all, just random. Okay, we're done with that. We're done with the bunnies. Oh, and then to do, where's that new ribbon? A ziggle zaggle. Here's that new ribbon. So ziggle zaggle is going to go behind here. So to do that, I'm going to put adhesive all over here. And get some of this new ribbon, polka dots. It's like, what is that lump? Okay, let's go on and discover it. Right here, there's a lump. It's like, what is that? This is brand new. There can't be a lump. Oh, it's kind of, it's not twisted on there smoothly. Okay, I'll clean that up later. So to do ziggle zaggle, at first I'm thinking I want this sticking out about that far, about that angle. Good. Then I want this part sticking out here, and this polka dot trim, it's a little bit crunchy, a little bit hard. Okay, how's that? I think there's too much of a gap right here. Okay, good, good. Okay, I like that. Then cut it at an angle. It's crunchy. Then, to make all these stick, I'm going to put dimensionals. Host code. If you don't already have a demonstrator, you need anything, I would love it if you use my link, and I'll put a link in the description. And if it's under 150, use this code, host code. I'd greatly appreciate that. So dimensionals are holding the ribbon in place. And I notice on this sample how it keeps kind of popping up. So I might have to put some weight on it and use a little bit of glue to make sure it holds down. I was talking with Amy, and she goes, well, you know what the latest trend is? I'm like, what? Because you have to rely on Amy. Amy knows things. She's like, if you have a paper, you use glue. Well, here, let me do this latest trend. I'd say I like to be trendy, but I don't try to be trendy. Well, nothing is popping up now. Oh, this right here. So they have a stamp block. This is the trend. A stamp block used to put weight on papers you glue, and it will make them dry flat. That's what the trend is. So buy big stamp blocks. Okay. So this isn't the exact application, but now that's a big block that I never use. This is a block F. Okay, so here it is. Watch this, I'm gonna be trendy. Dry. How's that? Okay, so with that said, let me be pre-trendy. And I wouldn't even think of doing this, but when I came back this morning, my little egg was, oh, this goes on the circle. It was popped up. How about right about there? Well, that worked pretty good. This just gets stuck down. Right about here. Then the words go on. That goes on with dimensionals. See, do I have any? I have no more stories. That's it. Oh, the gold. We have to put the gold little dots on. Okay, and then a bunny. Well, the bunny's ears are popped up. They're above the, okay. So, no glue on the ears. Okay, now I'm back to thinking about chocolate. I like milk chocolate, dark chocolate, if it's not too dark, and not so much white chocolate. To me, it kind of, it's lacking in flavor or something. Okay, so now the gold, and then, okay, so the dilemma is, do I use the weight or do I do the gold? That one seems to be sticking down pretty good. That could do trendy weight. So the gold, metallic enamel effects. So I'll put it in the center of each of these flowers. Ooh, that's a big dot. That's okay though. Okay, and then I was doing little 3. 1, 2, 3, without hardly squeezing this bottle. Because if you squeeze it, you'll get big dots. I want just little bloop, bloop, bloops. Okay, and then I'm going to put some on this designer paper here. I think I'm doing these on the designer paper because they're hardly seen, just because it's kind of a lot of fun. Even the dots on the egg, you can hardly tell. But it blends it all together. Ooh, finger in the dots. Okay, that's good. So that's it for today's project. That is it. Excellent eggs. Eggs. Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye.